My name's Jdalton. I'm a two-time Olympic gymnast and four-time world medalist. I spent about 20 years of my life doing gymnastics at the highest level and competing all around the world. I recently came by a video on YouTube explaining how gymnasts got their biceps. And then all my friends started sending me these videos and they're using me as their thumbnail. Or they have my videos working out in their videos. So I watched some of these videos. I don't study anatomy, I'm not a doctor, but I spent 20 years of my life doing this sport. In men's gymnastics, we have 6 events. 4 of those use almost all upper body strength and flexibility. The other 2 events, floor and vault, use mostly your legs. On each event, we have 10 skills. So those 4 upper body events have 10 skills. Now, you probably do more than just 10, but in our routine, we have 10 that we try to perform perfectly. So let's say that you have 30 different skills on each of those 4 upper body events. That's 120 skills that you're learning, training, and repeating hundreds of times that are strictly upper body. For example, one of those events is rings, the famous iron cross that you see everybody doing, sticking their arms out. That's one of the most famous skills. On this event, you're putting an extreme amount of stress on your biceps, your pecs, your shoulders, your entire upper body. For that iron cross, your arms are extended straight out. You need to have straight arms because it's a deduction if you bend your arm. Bending your arm usually makes the skill easier. So that's why we always have straight arms. Now for the math section, my worst subject. Let's go over the time spent in the gym as a gymnast compared to your average person. So let's say between 5 and 7, when you first start gymnastics, you're maybe doing 1 hour to 2 hours a week. But when you're competing, which is you can compete at 6 years old, between 6 and 7, you're going a couple hours a week, more than that. So I average at about 5 to 7 years old, about 8 hours a week. 8 hours a week, 52 weeks in a year, that's 416 hours a year spent in the gym. Now let's say between 8 to 10 years old. Now you're probably averaging about 15 hours a week in the gym. That adds up to 780 hours a year training in the gym. From ages 11 to 13, you're probably training about 20 hours a week in the gym. That adds up to 1,040 hours a year in the gym. Now, once you get a little bit older, about 14 to 17, you're pretty dedicated. Now you're gonna be training 30 hours a week. That means you're training 1,560 hours a year. Moving on from that, 18 to 26 was when I retired, 26 years old. That is probably your heaviest and most strict training. We were training an average of about 35 hours a week in the gym. That adds up to 1,820 hours a year. Now let's compare that to your average person saying maybe 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. I would say most people probably don't do that, but let's just say 5 hours a week in the gym adds up to 260 hours a year. That's 1,560 hours more time spent in the gym as a gymnast. That is 7 times more than your average person. This is where everything comes together. It's all about the time spent in the gym training, the consistency, and the events, the 4 upper body events, and all of the skills, putting all the stress on your biceps, your shoulders, your chest, all of it. It all wraps in together. It's not one specific thing. It's not one exercise you're doing in the gym. It's all of it put together. Some of the videos out there were saying it's just pull-ups or it's a certain skill, certain exercise. But this guy, I hope I'm not butchering it, Monster, strength. This guy breaks it down more, the anatomy of it, and I think he did actually a pretty good job. So shout out to you. Oh. Sorry, hold on. Let's see. That's funny. Someone just sent it again.